The biggest obstacle that I faced, I would say uncertainty, because you have so much information online, and people like to say information or knowledge is power, when in reality, applied knowledge is power.
Hi, Alex. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mark, for having me.
Welcome to Peak Performance Perspective, where we help entrepreneurs master health, wealth, and relationships. Now, as a founder of a marketing agency, co founder of Building Income on Demand, what does peak performance mean to you?
Honestly, it's being on top of the game in all spheres of in all areas of life, as you mentioned, health, wealth, and relationships, because you can have a lot of money, but then have terrible health and not really good relationships, whether it's with your loved ones, the family, the wife, the husband, right? And I believe that it's important to focus on all the main areas of life.
That something like that is so easily said, but so hard to do. So, how have you achieved that in your own life?
So in my case, since I was a kid, I've been practicing Taekwondo at this point for 15 years. I stopped about 2 years ago, but I've been doing it for 15 years. I've always practiced some type of a sport. I used to play basketball, I would do swimming for about 2 years. So I had a lot of sports in my childhood and in between. And I think that's what really helped me in the process. Because if we talk about, let's say, Taekwondo, it helps you with so many different things. Being resilient, making sure that you're finishing what you're starting, because there are also different levels to it, right? You get different belts, so you go through each and every level, and you achieve, and you get a new belt, so you achieve the new level. The same thing goes with any other sports. So I believe that all the skills help you in business and of course in life.
Sports in general has an incredible effect on our physical health, our mental health, in life, like you mentioned. Was there anything specific about Taekwondo that shaped your mindset as an entrepreneur?
I would say the main thing that shaped my mindset was it taught me how to be determined. So if you
What
wanted
does
to
that
add something.
mean? What does that mean? I'm curious.
Yeah, so for me, it means if I set a goal for myself, I'll have to do everything that I possibly can in order to get there. And again, whether it's whenever I was preparing for the competition, because that part takes not just the physical, like you can be physically strong and you're gonna have great stretching and strong kicks, but first of all, it all starts in your head. So you have to have a really good mindset. And as you mentioned, speaking of the mindset and mental health, that's, I would say, 80% of the game, pretty much. Because even while you're training, and we can take any type of sports, your brain, let's say when you're pushing yourself and you're thinking, that's it, I'm done. Like even when you're at the gym and you're doing bench press and you're thinking, I'm done. In reality, I forgot which book that was, but I was reading a book and they said that your brain still has 30%, or your body still has 30% to go, but it's just your brain that kind of locks it. So it really starts in your head.
Oftentimes in life, we know we are leaving something on the table. We know that I have more within me and I'm not doing it. How do you actually break past that barrier? Because you give an example of a gym, that's correct. Taekwondo, that's correct. In business, is there an aspect of self-sabotage that plays into this?
100%. I've been there myself multiple times, even though I've been doing martial arts and all sorts of sports, right? What I found with self-sabotaging is it's important for you to have routines, whether you want it or not. But we as our human nature, we like to, or it's not necessarily that we like to, not everyone likes it, but that's how we are built. We need to have routines. And when I say routines, I'm referring to healthy routines. So let's say that when you wake up, you have your morning routine, like something that I'm doing, like we call it morning formula in our community. And that's a couple of things. So the moment that you wake up, you do a couple of different things or a couple of specific things that will set your mind for the day ahead. And it could be, you could go over your goals, whether it's monthly goals or yearly goals, which is one of the things that I like to do. I go over in the morning when I wake up, I'll pretty much pull it on my phone in the Notion app. I go over the 10-year goals, the 1 year goal, the 6 month, 3 months, and the current goals for this month. And I just go quickly. I don't necessarily go through all of them like one by one and read them, but I do go through them quickly so I can set my mind straight and to position my head and to know what I'm going after pretty much. Because in the world of entrepreneurship, there are so many different things that can happen in that one day. So that's one thing. Also, workouts. It's important to do some physical activities in the morning. So I've tried going to the gym in the morning. It wasn't my thing. Like I've tried hard. I've tried really hard, but I guess because I got used to going to the gym or working at training, let's say practicing Taekwondo at night. And most of the sports that I was doing there were mostly at night. I guess I got either used to that or I'm more comfortable doing it closer to, let's say, 5, 6, 7 p.m. But in the morning, I still do at least 100 push-ups. That's a non-negotiable. And that helps me to wake up and get energized, get ready for the day. So by doing these little things, and small things make a huge difference. So by doing these little things, they literally set me up for the day ahead.
All of us, we have dreams, we have desires, we have goals. As we're recording this, the new year is around the corner. We set a path, we set a routine, we create a plan, and then we run into an obstacle. What was the biggest obstacle that you faced when you were starting your business? And how did you go about overcoming it using the principles you just laid out?
The biggest obstacle that I faced, I would say uncertainty, because you have so much information online and people like to say information or knowledge is power, when in reality, applied knowledge is power. Because again, there is so much information and you can go to Google, you can go to YouTube, you can learn so much. But if you don't really apply that, it's not gonna matter at the end of the day. And some certain things that I was struggling with is because of this volume of information. But even honestly, even these days, sometimes like you look at, because there are always new levels, right, to wherever you want to go. And I would look at specific I'm following certain people and I would look at their content, would listen to their podcasts, watch some of their videos. And some of them say similar things, but at the same time they're different. And in your head you're like, so who should I listen to? There is way too much information, way too much noise. So what I found for myself is the best thing that you could do is find a coach. And there's a reason why the entire coaching and consulting industry is growing like crazy these days. I was looking at the numbers. I think Tony Robbins said that by 28 or 20, it's going to be $1 trillion industry. I don't want to quote him on that, but I think it was him because he started with Dinker Suzy, the mastermind come.
You have worked with so many diverse industries like spas and real estate and gyms. What was the most surprising lesson you learned having worked across these fields?
They don't really have a strategy in place. They see a new thing that's working and they try to use that, which is a tactic essentially. But you know how tactics work. It is important for you to have, first of all, strategy in place. Like the way we're doing it is we take, let's say, Q1, we decide that this is the strategy that we're going to follow. Let's say we're going to run ads into this funnel. This is going to be the sequence and yada, yada, right? That could be one strategy. Another one could be build a group of JV partners and build a relationship with those people so we could send business to each other. That's another strategy. And then the tactics are the little things that add up on top of the strategy. And a lot of them simply don't know the difference between the strategy and the tactic, and they don't have systems in place. So they do a lot of things manually. Because even, let's say, if we take the spa or real estate agents or teams, real estate teams, gyms, like group training gyms, they do have some sort of systems, but those are like wobbly systems because if something goes out, the whole system is broken. Or one person is out, the whole system is broken.
As you want approaches, for listeners who are entrepreneurs, they want to come up with some of a basic strategy so that they could implement it into their business. What are the first couple of steps you recommend they do? And let's just say it's a coaching business.
Coaching as gym coaching or?
As a business coach.
Okay.
Anybody who's offering any recorded program and attracting clients and the clients are going through a recorded program.
First things first, knowing who is your ICP, the ideal client profile, because that's usually one of the biggest bottlenecks. The second one is the offer itself. So what do you offer to those people? What's the end result? Because you're selling the result. You're not selling necessarily the product or the service itself. And I want to pinpoint the ideal client part. In our case, we were helping businesses with their marketing. And then when we started our consultancy, we could literally help any service business like the industries that you mentioned. And we started going after all of those. So we've tried going after small business owners, solopreneurs, or local business owners. That was our main niche targeting, but it's not necessarily a niche. And what we realized, even though we knew that, but I'm sure you've heard this as well, when you talk to everyone, you talk to no one. Yeah. So in our case, we had to decide on the specific niches. So when in our case, we took specific niches. Those are the insurance and real estate because they pretty much have the same structure What really changes is the product itself, whether it's selling a house or selling insurance or investments. So in case with the coaching business, it's exactly the same. It's knowing who you want to serve. Then you create an offer for them. So there is a product market fit. So people that you will be serving, they see your messaging and they understand that you talk to them, which in the old days, old school direct marketing, direct response marketing, they'd call it dog whistle marketing, or let's say like in case with radio ads, same thing, like you're calling out the audience. So that's exactly what you should do. And then after that, after you have the offer, now it's time for you to figure out how you want to position yourself and how to get the contact information of those people. So you could create a full-on funnel with a landing page, application form, the calendar, the whole VSL or the webinar. Lots of different ways on doing it, depending on your goal. I would say the simplest way to do it these days is to record 3 to 5 short form video content. Those would be reels and maybe a little bit longer. I would say 3 to 5 minutes long videos, and run those videos targeting your audience on social media, because you could post that on social media organically, which you should definitely do, but you don't necessarily know how many views you're going to get unless you're, I don't know, you're entertaining people and you want to get a lot of views. But in the world of business, you don't necessarily need to have that many views. A lot of people think about, oh, this video didn't get that many views. But then at the same time, maybe if you got only 150 or 200 views, like half of those could be your ideal clients. Like who cares if you got 10,000, 50, 100,000 or a million views? So then you take those videos and you would run ads targeting your ideal audience. In our case, we like to do it on Meta, so both Facebook and Instagram. And by doing that, you're pretty much building a goodwill. As Frank Kern likes to say, you help people by actually helping them. So within your content. And based on that, Facebook has an option. So when I say Facebook, I'm referring to Instagram as well. So they have an option where you could retarget people who watched, let's say 25% of the video, 50%, 75, 100%. So let's say, so the attention span these days is less than 7 seconds that people have. If we'll take, for example, TikTok, people have an attention span of 3 seconds. If we're going to take, let's say a 1 minute video, and we'll take people who watched at least 50% of it, which is 30 seconds, it means they got interested at some point. They watched it longer than 7 seconds. Now think of the videos that are 3 to 5 minutes long. If people watch 3% of that, or even 25% of that, now you're building that goodwill in the marketplace, and you're building an invisible pipeline. So you don't necessarily know who those people are. You don't have their contact information yet, the emails, phone numbers, all that stuff that we all want to have in our CRMs. But what you're doing again is you're building the goodwill and the know and trust factor. And now you have two options. You could either retarget these people with the offer, because now they already know who you are and you've built a trust with them. You could do that, or even within those videos, as the call to action, you could mention, if you want to get more information, you could either comment below or just send me a message. So that would be the easiest way to do without building complicated funnels.
When deciding the type of 1 minute videos to create, what are some do's and don'ts that you lay out for your clients?
The main don't is don't sell, because you're there to provide value. And when I say provide value, whatever, because a lot of people say value, what does it really mean? You basically give people, so what you can do is, the way you can create or provide value, go to YouTube and then look at the best performing videos in your space. Then look at the best performing, the best creators out there, because in each and every industry, there are people that focus on YouTube and they've done the work for you pretty much. And then see how they name the video, what they talk about in the video, because they did all that work, all that research in order, of course, to create that video. And most of the times they cover certain pain points or desires of a potential customer. So you could take those and create your version of the same topic. But the main thing is, do not sell right away. Even at the end of the short form content, the call to action should be something like, share this video with someone who you think might need to hear this, or comment, like those type of things, because you want to create engagement first. And then only after that's when you start selling.
You're an expert on teaching people how to build a content machine so that they don't have to hustle as much. How do you go about helping businesses do that so that they can make more without the constant grind and hustle?
Honestly, pretty simple. So the process that we like to use is, we call it batch content creation, where we would take the client, we would help them come up with ideas. using ChatGPT. You put in specific prompts into ChatGPT and you ask it. So based on the research that we've done, we looked at what the competition is doing, and we don't really care about that as much about what the competition is doing. We just want to see what people talk about. So based on that research, whether you do it through YouTube, you go to Reddit, and then you look at different forums and see what people talk about. You take you take those topics, and then you pretty much take the framework the video framework that we like to use is in the beginning you use hook or pattern interrupt. It could be mixed or those could be separated. And when I say pattern interrupt, it could be something like someone knocking on into the camera, right? Or like something that we did for our challenge back in March. My wife pushed me into the swimming pool. So those were the first 2 seconds. And that was the best performing ad. So it's important for you to have the pattern interrupt. That would be 1 to 2 seconds. To have a hook, but again, those could be merged into one. Then after that, you cover a desire or problem that the prospect might have in one sentence. So you can call them out based on that problem or desire. And after that, you give them 3 to 5 points. You give them a solution in 3 to 5 points. And in this case, you pretty much educate them on that. So that's that's the framework that you could use. And then at the end, of course, there's a call to action where they could either share it with someone else, share on their page, like it, comment. So that's the video framework that you can use specifically for your short form content. You could do it for the 3 to 5 minutes videos as well. It's just in the 3 to 5 points, you will talk about certain steps in more details.
Then ChatGPT, what would you say is a game-changing automation tool or system that you believe every small business should be implementing?
I would say if we'll take one, it would be Opus.Pro because Opus.Pro helps you edit the short form content in literally 2 to 5 minutes. So I'd say you could have either long form content and it will chop it down for you into short videos, or if you have the short, so let's say you take the short video, you record that, it's 1 minute long, you throw it into Opus, it will automatically add all the captions, it will find where it needs to be cut, add different emojis, different colors, so all the things that you're seeing in today's online world.
AI, artificial intelligence, is reshaping marketing as we speak. Do you see it enhancing or disrupting small business landscape? Because while it's useful to some types of business owners, a lot of business owners, their work is being done in seconds as opposed to weeks and months.
Honestly, it's both disrupting and enhancing. So it is disrupting certain things that were not necessarily automated or that would take a lot of time. Just let's say in case with videos. And the reason why I'm saying that prior to different AI tools, prior to them coming out, it would take us about 30 to 60 minutes to edit a 1 minute short form video with Adobe without all the AI bells and whistles that when it does everything for you. So right there, we would save hours. And these days, if you can get you can pretty much have one employee that does a job of 5 people. If you know the tools or if that person understands how to use the tools, and whether we talk about the marketing part, and the marketing can be content, ads, emails, what else is there? So many different things. I can't even think of them now, but those I would say would be the main aspects.
You used to run a Taekwondo school. Now you run marketing companies and help clients grow and scale. You also worked in so many different industries. Having had this wide range of experience, what would you say was the main mindset shift allowed you to grow into this business and be so successful?
I realized there's always a next level, and it's important to always learn new things. So to have a mindset where you want, or it's either you want or you need to learn new things. And in my case, I love learning stuff. As my business partner tells me, because man, I wish we could implement all these things as fast as you're learning them, because there is a lot. And especially if we talk about the AI, there are way too many things that are coming out. There's a new app coming out every single day. It feels like we are back in 2020 when NFTs were booming, and now I don't know where they are.
Yeah. What's an exciting tool that you came across recently that you want to share with the audience?
An exciting one, let me think. So there is one tool. Give me a sec. I would need to find that because I have it saved right here. Okay, sorry about that. So an exciting tool that you guys should definitely check out is Snippet. So that's a tool for podcasts where you can use this tool, and what it does, it it takes snippets of the podcast and it transcribes them into the written text. And you can connect that to any other tools, any other note-taking tools. Because let's say if you're listening to this episode, for example, now, or any other, and sometimes you want to take notes because you hear those golden nuggets. And a lot of times, let's say if you're working out or maybe you're driving, you can't necessarily take out the phone and start typing. So what this tool is going to do, it will take that snippet of the episode and it will transcribe it for you, and it will add it automatically into the any note-taking app. So like in my case, I'm using Notion. I'm still figuring out how that's going to work with Notion specifically, but I know that it does connect to many different ones.
We talked about so many different businesses that you have worked for and ran. We talked about the importance of a resilient mindset, having a specific routine so that we can continue to learn and continue to get past it. But when it comes to overcoming challenges, motivation is key, right? Sometimes there are times you just feel like things are not moving, things are never going to get there. So, for those listening to it, what's your approach to overcoming challenges and staying motivated when business is getting tough?
I would say the main thing, I'll answer the way what my first mentor told me. He said, you can't get motivated by going to different events, get hyped, but then after a week or two, that motivation is gone. So what you really need to do is commit to the process. And when you start getting results, those results will motivate you. So now you're getting motivated because you're getting results from your work. And now you're even more excited and you want to work even more. So now it becomes a snow cone and one thing goes after another and you're always staying excited and motivated at the same time. But I would say in the beginning, it definitely takes commitment. That's the main thing.
Talked about habits, you talked about routines. What is one secret habit or routine you have developed that contributes to your success?
One. It's always the toughest to find that one, right? Like in the book, the one thing. What's the one thing?
Because in the world of routines, there's so many things.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about meditation and cold plunges and writing in a journal, and we've all heard that. And those are all great and they work. Individual successful entrepreneurs sometimes have figured out something little here or there that works for them. I'm just curious to see if you have one like that.
I would say wake up in the morning and go over the goals and do a little bit of a workout routine. Because when you start working out, and again, when I say workout routine, it could literally be 100 push-ups or 50 or however you can make. But I noticed that if I would take the smallest thing, that would be it, 100 push-ups in the morning, because that will energize you for the day ahead.
When you say go over the goals, what does that mean? Is there something more to that than just reading them, which you've written down before?
There definitely is. And the main thing that you could do is visualize them, because visualization is one of the strongest things that, or one of the best things that you could do for your life, because you pretty much project your future in your present time. And I'm not talking about, it's not some kind of a woo topic. Like you can look up different world-class athletes. That's exactly what they're doing. Like Michael Phelps, for example. I was reading about him. Same thing with Kobe Bryant. Exactly the same thing. Visualization plays a huge role in any or every athlete who got to the top 1% or 0.1%.
Can you explain to the audience the difference between proper visualization and just daydreaming?
Yeah. Properly visualize, at least that's how I'm doing it, is you want to know, let's say you have a goal, I don't know, whatever the goal is, build $1 million company, since we talk about entrepreneurs, right? Visualize yourself, what does it not just feel, but visualize all the little things. So whenever you achieve that, where are you currently in your, so let's say you hit your goal, right? Where are you right now? Is it a day or night? What time? What's the weather outside? Are you, I don't know, at a coffee shop and you got a big client, or the amount was deposited in your banking account, and then a waitress comes and she brings you your order, and look at the whether the coffee shop or the restaurant, look at it from her point of view or other people's point of view, so you can understand what that feels like and what that looks like, so you can pretty much turn that into a reality.
Yeah. What does that do to our brains that it's so effective?
What it does is it's not that it recreates. I'm trying to find the word. If you can help me with finding it, I'm sure you know what word I'm trying to find, or that I'm looking for. But it's basically it's trying to find the neuron. Then it's creating the new neuron paths And in return, you get to, again, feel what that looks like. And your brain, your subconscious, especially because your subconscious doesn't really know the difference between what's real and what's not. And if you feel and if you feed it what you want to be real, it's going to create that reality for you. That's how the brain works. So if you're gonna feed it negative, you're gonna watch the news all the time, or you're gonna be on TikTok all day long. What you put in is what you're gonna get back. So if you will be visualizing it on a consistent basis, and I know sometimes it's hard, like even for me, I'm trying to, but I'm not doing it every single day, even though I should. But yeah, what it does is it changes the pattern, and it tells your subconscious this is the way things are pretty much.
Tell us about your company. Tell us about any offers you have, anything that you're doing in the new year to help small businesses scale. This is the time of the year when everybody has new goals. How can you help them?
Yeah, so in our case, what we do is we help business owners build out client acquisition systems. And when I say client acquisition systems, I'm referring to anything and everything that's related to content, ads, the backend, which are emails, the text messages, when the lead is coming into your system, where do they go? How many follow-ups how many emails do they get? All those little things, which again, at the end, make a huge difference. If you have a sales team, what happens there? Do you guys have a CRM? How optimized is that part? So that's exactly what we do. We come in and we help you implement those systems. We teach you how to run them so you can pretty much run them on your own without even needing to hire anyone, or maybe just have one person who keeps an eye on all of those and runs the entire front end of marketing and back end for you.
Alex, hard to find somebody who has experience in so many different niches. But not only that, has developed practice and a discipline in a sport that helps us shape our neural pathways in a way so that we could start looking at a different future, one that exists. The fact that you are trained in Taekwondo, that the fact that you are a constant learner is possibly one of the greatest assets that you have that allows you to go from point A to point B so fast. You've lived so many lives in just one life already at a young age. And I think that's a superpower. It's been an honor and pleasure talking to you. Any last words for our audience members?
I would say I like to share this quote with the audiences whenever I go to podcasts. I don't know if you've heard it before. Forgot who said it, but I remember the quote. A river cuts through rock not because of its power, but because of its persistence. So it's extremely important for you to be persistent because whatever happens, just keep going because things will happen. And I know that they will happen in the future because they happened in the past and I'm well aware of that. And like in our case, we are ready for that. If you've been to Niagara Falls, you could see that literally because the power of the river literally cuts through the rock and the rock right under the water is really smooth. And I've been to Niagara Falls, I don't know at this point, like 8 times, I think. And I remember once we came and went there a couple of times, then went another time, but it was like 3 years in between and I went to the same spot, well, like on the Canadian side. And I could see the part of the rock that I would see before, that part was gone. Yeah. So it's persistence.
Great. Alex, thank you for being on the show. I hope to talk to you soon again.